Yeah, right?
Okay, how's everybody doing? Jamie here with Enigmatic Pneumatics, and today I have Greg and Kathleen with me, and we've been enjoying Moab. We're here kind of near Slick Rock up, what would you call this? The Sand Flats?
I think this is the Sand Flats, yeah.
So we're at the Sand Flats. We've been here all weekend. We did some mountain biking yesterday, had a blast. And the reason that I've asked Greg and Kathleen to join me is because they were the hosts of the Vanlife gathering over the summer, where some of the videos you guys have already seen with Colby and Anthony and Sophie and so forth, where we all got together to film those. And we had an absolute great time, and we were lucky enough to catch back up here in Moab as the fall is kind of winding through. And so I wanted to just take a moment and talk to them about what they've been up to when they're not setting up van life gatherings. So first of all, I present to you Greg and Kathleen. How you guys doing?
Doing well. It's good. Beautiful out here. Love it.
Yeah, it really is. So we were talking around the campfire, and Kathleen has some things in the works. Would you tell us a little bit about that?
So yeah, we wrote a book, and it's called Roll with Kathleen, Greg, and Blaze in a Camper Trailer. It's an illustrated hardcover book featuring our experiences living in 140 square feet. Yeah, you want to talk a little bit more about it?
Yeah, about 2 years ago we embarked on living in a camper trailer, and we wanted to get closer to nature. We wanted to live more simply, and it's really been better than we could have ever imagined. And it's evolving, and it's a really great way to live. And our book is about the stories of our journey on living in our camper trailer in our first couple of years, and it's really going to be a fun book.
I also wanted it to be an easy read because I wanted children to be able to pick up the book and see that there's different lifestyles out there. There's alternative lifestyles that are very freeing and bring so much happiness. And I wanted a kid to be able to see this and say, oh, I can actually grow up, and I don't need to have a big house. I could live in a camper in a backyard, or I could live in a van, or I could live, in a smaller space and still have great experiences. And so that's why I wanted it to appeal to adults, but also to children as well.
So let's talk about your inspiration, both of you guys, for the book, but also for this lifestyle, because at one point we were all raised to think that we were to eventually be homeowners. Mm-hmm. At least in the United States, it seems like that's the indoctrination. We go through school, we get a good education, make a good living, and then the next logical step is that we become homeowners. And where was the transition for you to feel like maybe that wasn't what your lifestyle was going to look like?
You should probably answer that one, because that started for you back in New Zealand.
I lived in a van in New Zealand, and it really changed my perspectives on what's important in life. And ever since then, I wanted to live small, wanted to live mobile, and there's a lot of really good reasons for doing so, and I highly suggest it.
Well, what would be some of those reasons for people that might be watching that are going, hey man, you were in New Zealand living in a van? What inspired you in New Zealand, and what were some of those reasons you could share with us?
Yeah, when you go camping, you're close to nature, and when you go for a hike, you're close to nature. But when you live amongst nature, you have a different appreciation for it. You can watch different patterns in nature. It influences your decision making and your daily life more than when you're in a controlled environment of your apartment or whatever. So you can feel the breezes, you can feel the temperature swings, you can feel the weather shifting, and you're very in tune with all of that. And you notice the seasons much more. You know the patterns of the moon, you notice patterns of the ecosystems, and you really get to know nature on a personal level that you really can't when you only know it intermittently.
And I would add too that because you have a small space, you don't need as many things. And when you don't need as many things, I would say that takes away from a lot of stresses of, wanting more and more, and you end up spending less because you don't need to spend money on things to fill your space. And so you have more money to spend on experiences and doing things that you don't need to buy the car or the house or whatnot, because you can spend that money on other things or you can save it. So I think that's kind of cool.
I would agree. Who does this book speak to? Who would be the person that would be interested in this book?
So I think a couple different people. One would be people who are interested in tiny living, whether that's van life or they're just not sure what that adventure rig looks like. I think this would be a great way to start, because I was pretty hesitant, and so it kind of goes through my thought process. The challenges, but also the rewards. So I think anyone who's interested, but maybe hasn't taken that leap yet, can read this book. I also think that people who are in van life or any other tiny living now might just want to get a different perspective, because for us, we lived mostly off the grid, but also we're working full-time jobs, and so we were kind of in this we were not on the road, but we were, I don't know how to say it. We were living small, but we were also working as a part of society. And so I want people to know that you don't have to necessarily hit the road to live small. You can live in someone's backyard for a little bit. You can take your time. Like, we saved up money, to do this. And so, I think those kind of people too, that are already living lifestyle, but, aren't sure what kind of rig they want, or maybe they're not ready to quit their jobs yet. So, yeah.
I think it's for the adventurers out there.
For the adventurers. You talked about, some of the things that folks can learn about this lifestyle from your book. What else can folks expect to learn? If they pick up this book, what are they going to learn?
Oh man, lots of stuff. Well, you can talk a little bit about what you learned in general from working with me.
Yeah, it's really the experience of making that transition from maybe what you're used to or what people expect of you, and having it in story form really makes it come through and gives you that perspective on how to plan, how to prepare, how to reinvent, and that's something that we're always doing, and that's something that I think you like to coach all your viewers.
So do you chronicle your experience and your process in the book?
Yes, chronicling that, and then also we talk a little bit about meeting up with different kinds of tiny dwellers on the road and hearing their experiences. So we kind of give you a couple different takes. But I really just wanted someone to step inside, what was I thinking and feeling when I was going through it. I don't want people to think, it's always the Instagram photo at the back door of a van, it's beautiful. I wanted to give people the raw, honest approach of what the process that I went through.
So the mental process, maybe some of the anxiety that you had.
Totally.
Is shared in the book?
Yeah, for sure. And I want people to know that's okay. I think it's okay to go through some of that. It's okay to not love it right away. I didn't.
Or everything about it.
Yeah,
still.
And it's hard, but I think because it's hard, there's beauty in that. There's beauty in the challenge of living small. And I think it's good to go through hardships because it makes you a stronger person.
Absolutely. So how would people find out more about what you guys are doing day to day if they wanted to follow your adventures along? How do they find you on the web?
Yeah, so we're on Instagram at Tiny House, Tiny Footprint. And you can also visit our website at tinyhousetinyfootprint.com.
So you have a website too.
Mm-hmm.
If they have questions about what you're doing, do you answer people's questions?
Totally. We get a lot of emails, which you can email us at tinyhousetinyfootprint@gmail.com. Get a lot of emails about people starting out and have a lot of questions about what kind of rig they want to get, and just other types of van life, camper life questions. So we're always here to help out and offer suggestions.
And also, we were talking earlier about the book project. It's still under development, and if folks want to help participate in the finishing of that book, because you have illustrators that you're paying for, it's going to be a hardcover book. It's not going to be an ebook on Amazon. This is going to be a legit, tangible book to sit on your coffee table. And you're still in the development stages, finishing out that, and you've got costs involved. If folks wanted to help participate in the costs, how would they go about that?
Yeah, so we launched a Kickstarter about, 6 days ago now. Well, that doesn't matter. Go check it out. You can find the link in our Instagram bio or on our website.
And after the book is published, if folks wanted to get a signed copy of the book?
Yeah, so after the book is published, so if the Kickstarter is successful, we will continue to sell the book on our website, and we'll have a shop on our website where you can buy the book. Hopefully the book's successul.
Of course it will be successful. This is going to be the first book. What are you talking about? You're going to be on Oprah. Do they still have Oprah?
It will be successful. We have other rewards too. We have a coloring book, an adult coloring book that you can buy. And we have a venture kit, which includes 2 books and 2 coloring books. We have all different kinds of packages, just in case you want to gift the book to someone else who might be interested in tiny living.
Greg, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, help make it possible. Visit the Kickstarter and get your book reserved now.
And real quick, what is it that you do, Greg, when you're not out camping and mountain biking in Moab?
Yeah, I'm a landscape architect and permaculturalist. So I love sustainable farming and good food and making that a reality, making that possible for people.
Now, did you infuse some of your landscape architectural background into the book? Can we expect to see some of your permaculture tips in the book?
Absolutely, and permaculture is a philosophy both for sustainable agriculture, but also for a philosophical way of living life, a guide to life, and a lot of that's in the book, absolutely.
Some of the things that we implemented in the camper, and we can talk more about that if anyone's interested, but some of the things we implemented in our camper design come from Greg and kind of reusing materials and passive solar and things like that.
Stacking functions, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, very cool. Thank you for taking a moment to visit with me, and we have had a great time this weekend, and I look forward to our next meeting somewhere down the road.
Absolutely.
We do too. Thanks for having us.
You bet. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on the next round. If you like the video, please like it, and if you know anybody that could benefit from this, please go ahead and share it if you would. And you guys have a great day. See ya.